You said this earlier this year. You said that with all the Fed rates, and granted, you don't have the crystal ball, but you said that we would see rates hit their peak probably around now, June, and then we'd see them taper off back towards the end of the year. Now, I don't have the article in front of me, but I believe it was NAR had said the same thing. NAR, like his Realtor.com, Zillow, everybody's coming out and saying rates are going to go up forever. And NAR, I think, was the one that said, hey, rates are going to taper off towards the end of the year. So they kind of agreed with you a little bit. Do you still think rates are going to taper off towards the end of the year?
I think that we should start seeing a decrease in rates towards the end of the year after we see that peak of inflation. So once we see that peak of inflation happens and we start seeing, that all this is going to good work and the inflation start coming down, I do think that we'll start seeing it go low, like start declining. I don't think it will be a sharp decline by any means, but I do agree that it should start going down once we see that at the end of the year.
Okay. So right now what we're seeing is a lot of uncertainty, right? The stock market's going crazy. It's dropping. Maybe not as of today, but the last 2 days I saw the market going crazy. I looked at my stock portfolio and was going, and my wife is going, we got to sell it. I'm like, what? Don't sell? What are you talking about? Don't sell our stock portfolio. She's freaking out. Real estate though, right? So we're in this weird time where you have prices still fairly strong. And Ian, I'm going to drop the truth bomb on you right now. Sarah, you ready for the truth bomb?
Yes.
I pulled the stats, painfully pulled the stats in Austin. So I can't speak for every market. 75% of sold homes still went over list price. Only 25% sold at or below list price. So the March numbers are, sorry, not March. What are we in? May. The April numbers aren't out yet. They're going to come out the 15th of this month. Last month, 625. I guarantee you they peak, if not hit, crossover slightly, 650. I've run the numbers, 650. That might even be higher. But those 650 for April, does that matter for the going forward? Meaning those numbers are going to be much higher. We're going to set records with those numbers. But does that make any difference going forward for the rest of the year? That is the question. Ian, you're first because you have a beret.
Yeah, I think that number is a record for price point for a minute, for a little bit. I don't think it's going to eclipse that next month. I just don't think it's going to eclipse it. I think it'll still stay high, but I don't think it's going to eclipse it. But I'm going to need more data to be able to prove that point.
Sarah, knowing that the numbers for April will probably eclipse the March numbers, what do you think going forward? Are those numbers going to stay strong for the rest of the year, or do they mean nothing to anyone right now?
I think that the average, so we're talking about the average sales price, right? For the Austin median. Okay. So I think that, I think that we are going to summer, which historically, things have been strong and everything usually goes a little bit higher in the summer, right? A more over listing from what I've seen in the past. I honestly think that big picture, we're going to continue to see home prices be the same or high, like go up higher, but not go up as high or as quickly as we saw in 2020, 2021. Firmly, because there's just so much demand and so little supply, and everyone's moving to Austin for jobs and everything else. And there's so many companies moving here, and they have to have a place to live, and rent is so high. Like, that's fun.
So let me add partly just to my defense. The reason why I think it's a little questionable is you have a lot of these companies where people are relocating here for some of these companies that are starting to have pains themselves. And I'm going to use Meta as an example.
Meta's having pains?
I mean, yeah, they're stopping they froze their hiring, right?
What?
And they're allowing a natural attrition to occur, and their numbers haven't been good. And that's a big company in Austin. I've looked at NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA's down. That's a big company in Austin. Netflix isn't here, but if they were, That'd be a problem.
Netflix is here. Did you realize that?
No, I didn't.
They're shooting TV shows like every day here in Austin.
Well, the TV show, but
yeah, but
I don't know if they're going to keep doing it. This might be the last season.
They have people on the ground. Yeah, they're
might be the last season.
They'll have a presence here in Austin.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with it.
You know, the new Chuck Norris series got filmed at my buddy's place.
Really?
Oh, cool. Yeah,
on the land.
I had no idea. He's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Chuck's over here." I'm like, "You jerk! Thanks for telling me now." Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. So you're talking about stocks dropping or companies dropping. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
So exactly that. We have a huge tech presence, and a lot of the tech companies are having a hard time for the moment. So I think that might actually impact our numbers or curb some of the desire for people that were committed, highly committed to jump ship.
Well, you do also bring a good point too, because there's not all the people that are moving here. Not all the jobs are going to be at the level of income where they can afford the higher prices too. And I think this is something you guys talked about before. And so it's kind of like some of those new communities and some of the housing that pops up still has to stay within a certain price point, right? Or they don't have a place, they can't afford to even live and work here. So that's also something that maybe you guys know more about.
And another thing is, and I want you to elaborate on this one if you've seen it, Sarah, or if your team has seen it, where people have been waiting for builds and they were quoted at 3.5% rate. And now if it's 7 months later, because it's been pushed back, or even 9 or 10 months later, those people that can no longer afford it, what are they going to do?
Right. And so, no, that's a really good point, because that's one of the things the higher rates have done. It's like it's hit some people in two ways. There's some people it doesn't matter at all. They don't care. And that like they have enough low debt to income ratio. They have enough assets where it doesn't impact them. But there are others, especially a lot of people that are in mid to low income or that are first time home buyers that are getting hit hard because they can't qualify. Their debt to income's too high and they don't have the means to get that number lower to still qualify for a home, or it makes their payment too high where it's just unfathomable, where they just can't, where there's nothing that they can do to afford it. One of the things that has come in handy with a lot of my new construction folks is that quite a few of them did choose to do extended lock. So they're able to, so we did lock them in at the 4. Yeah. Especially before the investments completely changed and those rates skyrocketed for second homes and investment properties in April. But yeah, a lot of people chose to do that. So we're closing people this month and next month that still have 4%. They're in the 4s. So that's been really great for them. That's not the case for everybody. And I would just say I would touch base with whoever your lender is to make sure that you're up to date on what those numbers are based off current market rate. So if you do have to pay down debt, if you do have to save more money for a larger down payment, that you're working on that now so you don't risk losing that home, because that's awful. Again, we're not dream killers.
Thanks for watching this short of the Real Amigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.